Candid Convo with Elsworth Johnson. Mr. Johnson, what is your historical overview of labor in the Bahamas?
As accepted by the historians, a people was removed by way of genocide, and there was the forced migration of thousands of Africans into this diaspora to give free labor. They weren't paid, and if they did not give it freely, they were raped, beaten, and killed. And so there you have it. And so the very rights that we take for granted now, whether it be the freedom of movement, the freedom of consciousness, the freedom to own property, can all be attributed to what I call lady labor.
How has the progression of labor affected Bahamian society?
And there was no such thing as some statutory right that you have. As a matter of fact, the laws that we imported into the Bahamas or the Caribbean region was that of the colonial masters, and it did not recognize the dignity of the human person. And so you see the struggles to have emancipation, and then the struggles of the 30s, the 40s, the 1958 general strike, and then 1961, where we came to have the Labor Day movement or the Labor Day March to identify and respect the energy and the sacrifice of those persons who gave so much for us to be able to celebrate labor.
Why do you personally celebrate Labor Day?
Women weren't paid. We were seen as property. You work for the guys, and they didn't pay you as they ought to have paid. And so, as a result of their efforts, whether they be fishermen, straw vendors, artisans, or persons who went to the, and I'm just contextualizing in the Bahamas, who went to the contract, they all gave so that we could have what we have today. And so here you have Labor Day, and the reason why we march, and the reason why we celebrate this day, it has absolutely nothing to do with politics. As a matter of fact, some of the great writers, when you think about Franz Fanon, who wrote The Wretched of the Earth, C.L.R. James, Professor Hilary Beckles, Rosemary Bell Antoine, or even Paul Robinson, some of the American writers who spoke about the challenges of the 50s, 40s, and the 60s and what it meant to us. We now come today to celebrate what is Labor Day, and to do anything else than to recognize the sacrifice of our forefathers at Labor Day is absolutely unacceptable, and to my mind, it is sacrosanct.
Who are your labor heroes?
The father of labor, Sir Randolph Folks, who gave so much to this country at the twilight of his years. He wasn't respected and loved as he ought to, but he gave it. Those persons who were part of the 1958 and Burma Road energy, love, and sacrifice. Those men who were, some of them got the cat nine tail, believe it or not. Those women from Cat Island who went to the farm to do their work, to take care of their children, who ended up in prison, and they lost, and the files were lost. And so on this Labor Day, I will go to march, not as an FNM, most certainly not as a PLP, as a Bahamian, but to recognize the sacrifice of those who were chained and bound, those men who did not give in.
What can Bahamians do to advance the cause of labor?
Appreciate what was done for us, and stand for better legislation, better enforcement of legislation, better rights for workers, men, women, and children, and to support labor unions. At one point, unions were outlawed.
What would your challenge be to union leaders moving forward?
The challenge to the union leaders is to have the courage and the audacity, like labor leaders of the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I see it resonated in one of our labor leaders, Miss Belinda Wilson, to challenge not just yourselves, the status quo and the bureaucracy in the spirit of justice, and equality for all.